So sometimes during these Football Manager series, these Let's Play series, these Builder Nations, decisions need to be made. And in this video, a very, very tough decision will come at the end. This is just an intro, you better believe it. Jesus, that was bad. Yep, welcome to the series. So welcome to today's video. If you are still enjoying the series, make sure you do go down and drop a like on it and comment below. Let me know your thoughts. The more likes and comments, the more YouTube will promote the channel, the content and the series itself to other people. So we are going to recap the before the Christmas Champions League run, have a look at the winter transfers, then go through all of that stuff. We also have the Club World Cup in today's video as well. So we start off our Champions League campaign with a very shocking 5-1 defeat to Newcastle. I have no idea what happened here. We just decided football was not the game for us. Now luckily, as we came up against our second English side in a row, we picked up a 0-0 against Arsenal. They did miss a penalty, but a point is a point. That was then followed up with a trip to Scotland, so sticking with this UK theme, coming up against Celtic, we beat them 1-0 with Crawl on the score sheet. We then left from playing UK teams and travelled to Italy to play Lecce and got a 1-1 draw. We did score early with Fossadal on the score sheet. I did start to believe a little bit, but then they came back into it. Very even game, 1-1. They are a very solid side now in this 2044-45 season. We then had Barcelona come over to Egerton. We got a 3-3 draw. Steens, Buzek and Marla on the score sheet for us. 3-3 draw. Except for that opening day defeat against Newcastle, we've looked fairly solid. And we ended the season, the year, with a victory over Lens. So travelling over to France, picked up the victory. This orbit assured us qualification to the knockout rounds. Was a red card for Fostal on the 80th minute though, which was disappointing, but Crawl again on the score sheet, and Abdullah also getting in amongst the goals. So as we went into the winter break, I decided to get very busy trying to develop, trying to rebuild, trying to continue this evolution of this team and making sure I kept Egerton in a solid position going forward. So the first sign coming in from Lazio for 1.3 million was a 16-year-old left back. I think he has a lot of potential. He's very raw, but he is only 16 years old. So it's all about seeing how he develops now at Egerton. The next one for 62 million, not all up front. I think we paid, can't remember what we paid up front. I think it was like 15 million and the rest is over installments. But Mark Corbett, who is labelled as a wonder kid, a very solid defensive stroke central midfielder. I like him. I think he is a really, really good player. We did pay very high for him, but it's a player who we wanted to get. And picking up from odds, we brought in young central defender Shale. I think he has a lot of potential. He was valued between 3 and 4 million. We paid 15 to help them out, give them a bit more money. Coming in from Werder Glimt again for 15 million. I like giving out the 15 millions. This guy's not that good, but again, it's all about trying to help other clubs within our division. And this one I'm excited about. Michael Smith coming in for 1 million from Manchester City. A English-Scottish player, central defender. We are working on his passing to get that up, but all in all, for 1 million, it's a steal. And from Lillestrøm, for 15 million, we signed Asger Grunlind. And again, I think he has a lot of potential, could develop into a really good player. Oh, apologies. Lunch coming back. Very, very good player. 15 million. Again, trying to help clubs in our division. Going out on this screen, Menseth has joined Werder Glimt for 1.3 million. A couple of loans in Fiske and Gravendal. And Ellison has gone to Real Betis. Now, he was in and around our first team. Played 3 games. But with heading of 6, he just was never going to get in and secure a first team spot. He ended up going out on a free. And the 2 players who came in after the summer, both from Werder Glimt, so we ended up giving them 45 million in this winter window. Didier Simon comes in, defensive midfielder, 20 years old. I think he looks okay. Probably never going to smash in our first team, but we will be helping them out. And Norby, who is a central defender, was fairly poor. He had a C- rating. And one of the things I found is if you sign someone who's not fantastic, the board and supporters, really get on your back. So it's trying to find that balance of giving clubs in our league money, but at the same time not signing players who are dreadful and upsetting the board, basically. So, in terms of the outs, Björklund went to Porto for just under $1 million. Disappointing because I did think he had a lot of potential and I would have preferred him to have stayed in the league. But nobody within the Norwegian system wanted him. Björnbach has gone to Hønefoss, Malm's gone to Junkeren, Akker's gone to Hønefoss, Petter Gross has gone to Sogndal on loan. That's a young keeper we signed, I do think has a lot of potential long term. Prince has left. He's gone to Newcastle for 50 million. I rejected a 40 million bid and he really kicked off. He has just won the Young Player of the Year as well, the Golden Boy, which actually I do want to actually show you this because this is fairly impressive. Golden Boy. Look at this. Eggerson, Fossum, Fossdal, Eggerson, Krall, Eggerson, Buzek, Ederson, Prince, Eggerson. We've had quite a few Golden Boys. But he's ended up going 50 million plus 50% next sale. That kind of sale is what's balanced the books so we can help other teams in our league. I know some people might say, why are you selling your best players? We've had to find that balance to try to help other teams. So Prince has gone to Viking, a young goalkeeper. Harristad has gone odds for 1.7 million. We paid 10 million for him, was it? Yeah, 10 million sold for 1.3. Jesus. Tor Bjornsson has gone for 1 million as well. And we signed him from HamKam for 3.2 million. We've ended up selling him to odds for 1 million. Ridder's gone to Valerenga, Jacobson to Junkeren, Norby's gone on loan to Berda Glimt, and Ståle has gone to Randen. That's all 8 loans out, so we couldn't loan anybody else out, otherwise I would have. But there's a lot more domestic transfers in there, and I really like that. I really like that we are starting to sell more domestically. So after the winter break, we came up against Vitesse in the first game back, and we were poor. Again, struggling to get ourselves up after the winter break. A 3-2 defeat. I guess the worst thing is, a former Eggerson player in Jersland getting both goals. 2 of the 3 for Vitesse. Now, we did finish the group stage with a 1-1 draw against Napoli with Krall on the score sheet. Now, unfortunately, we just had too many draws. 1-2, drew 4, lost 2, finished in 20th place. Now, that 20th place saw us get drawn against Real Betis in the knockout round, and we got a 1-0 victory at home with a 95th minute winner from Owen Jones. Now, that was followed up with a victory away from home, so a 2-0 victory on aggregate saw us go into the round of 16 against Leipzig. And after this victory, I pretty much saw that we were through to the quarterfinals. I was delighted with this. A 5-2 victory. Buzek, Hafthorsen and Krall both getting 2. Really, really pleased. 5-2 in the opening game. Then we travelled to their ground and got 2-2 draw, which saw us go through 7-4 in aggregate with Buzek and Fosdal on the score sheet. We will play Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. And in the first leg, we got 3-2 victory with Maui getting a hat-trick. They were good. They were good, and it was going to be very tough going to the Bernabeu to try to get the win. But we did it. We lost 3-2 and ended up going through on penalties. 5-3 on aggregate. 5-3, on penalties. 5-5 on aggregate. Guttelsrud and Hafthorsen on the score sheet for us in the game. Wow. Absolutely insane. But we would come up against Arsenal in the semi-finals of the Champions League. And after winning the Champions League last year, it was a step too far. Arsenal were just insanely good on the day. A 4-1 victory in the first leg was followed up with a 2-1 victory for them in the second leg. 6-2 on aggregate. But we won the Champions League last year. We've got to the semi-finals this year. We have built a very good side. Bear in mind, this Eggerson team is in a massive overhaul, and we are still getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League. So in terms of looking at how the other teams did in Europe, first off was Odds, who were in the Champions League, and they had a really bad run. Defeats to Milan, Feyenoord, Atalanta, PSG, Hoffenheim. Now, they did get a draw against Tottenham before, after Christmas, losing to Bayern and getting a draw against Wolves, saw them go out in the group stage. Very disappointing. So now let's move on and look at Viking Stavanger. They played in the Europa League and looked fairly solid, judging by this. Ilves in the playoff round, a 1-0 victory at home before drawing away. They then beat Astana 3-0, drew to Austria Wien, beat Sporting, lost to Athletic Club, beat Braga, drew to Slovan Bratislava. After Christmas, they drew to Rennes and Partizan before coming up against Partizan in the knockout round and unfortunately getting smashed 2-0 and 2-0. Disappointing, but at the same time, I am pleased with how we're looking. This is a bit concerning. Valerenga in the conference qualifying beat Boavista. They drew 1-1 before beating them 2-0 away. Then they came up against Winterthur from Switzerland. Lost away from home 1-0 before drawing at home, which saw them go out in qualifying. We're in the 2045. I need the other teams not to go out in qualifying. Oh, here we go. So next up is Mulder. After reaching the semi-finals last year, they came up against Finn Harps in the first qualifying round they played in. Won 1-0 and 2-0 before going out to Genk in the third qualifying round. 3-2 victory away before losing at home 3-0. Oh, no teams getting to the knockout rounds. Oh, sorry, Partizan knocked out. God, we look bad. We look bad. Let's investigate how this has affected things. First off, the Ligas has moved up 2 spots to 8th in the competition rankings. Egerson are now the 4th best club in Europe. But in terms of coefficient-wise, we only picked up 10.6 points. After 20.2 the year before, 10.6 sees us currently sitting on 50.4. We are 5 points behind Portugal. We are well clear of Denmark, Sweden and Turkey, which is nice. But I feel like we missed a trick there. If we'd have just picked up a couple of more points, we could have been closing in on Portugal and closing in on our 7th place. It's really disappointing how we did in Europe this year as a nation. Us and Egerson did well, but the nation is continuing to let us down. So moving on to the FIFA Club World Cup, which we qualified for after winning the Champions League. So first off, came up against Al Dohal and got a 4-0 victory. Fosdal getting on the score sheet, Gutelsrod with 2 and Buzek getting the 4th. Before we then got absolutely smashed 4-1 by Barcelona. Bjorn Gulson scoring first, but a 4-1 defeat. What is going on? We did secure qualification to the next round with a victory over Pumas, with Krog getting on the score sheet. So it was us and Barcelona from this group going through. We did come second, and we will now face Real Madrid in the second round. And the dream of being a Club World Cup champions is over. Half tossing on the score sheet for us, but a 3-1 defeat to Real Madrid. We just weren't good enough. We just were not good enough. We played really, really poor. Our squad looked like a club on an overhaul, and I was very, very disappointed that we went out in the second round. Now, looking at how the season has gone so far for the club, we are sitting in 3rd place. We do have a game in hand, so we can go within 3 points of odds. We're in a solid position. We are in a solid position. We never start fantastic. But financially, we still have 208 million in the bank. We've been pumping between 30 and 50 million into the domestic team's coffers regularly over the last couple of years, and we still are making profit every season. We still have Champions League money coming soon, so we are going to be in a profitable position this season again. But this is where we need to talk. I need to fix my chair, it's starting to squeak. The other teams in Europe keep letting us down. The other teams within Norway are costing us chasing Portugal. They are costing us chasing the Netherlands. And if we want to build the nation and make us one of the powerhouses of European football, we need better clubs in the nation. So I have decided to step away from Egerson. I have decided I wanted to play the Club World Cup. We've won the Champions League with them. We've won the Super Cup. We are an absolute powerhouse now in Europe. We are the 4th best team in Europe. we are leaving Egerton as one of the best teams in the world, basically. And I've decided that now is the time to try to get a job somewhere else in the Norwegian league structure. And hopefully the new manager of Egerton can lead them to glory. And hopefully then we can lead another club up there and have more than one team being successful in European competition. It's going to be tough. It's a decision I don't take lightly. When we look at our squad, we have some quality in there. The likes of Nehemiah, I wanted to see him develop. The likes of Fosterdal came through the academy, 26 years old now, 255 appearances for the club. It's sad to walk away from the squad. But at the same time, we are here to build a nation. And sometimes decisions need to be made. We are not building just one club. I've tried pumping money in over a couple of years, and some of the transfers they are making with that money is just ridiculous. So it's time for us to move to a different club in Norway. It's time for us to try to build up another club and just hope that Egerton can continue their dominance and their success in Europe for a couple of years and just let us catch up and just let us develop a couple of teams. Well, one team. We might end up going to another team after. But I think that needs to be done. So this is Build a Nation. And this is goodbye to Egerton IK.